Yeah, ultimately, I knew you as an MC, and then came to hear like DJ. Like, wait a minute, okay, who is Emskee, man? I've heard your name for years now. I'm like, yo, who is Emskee, bro?
That's a great question to start this off, man. I'm a man of mystery for many people. It's like my belief has always been, because I'm a student of this game, just as you are.
Sure.
And I observe people, and I observe behaviors, I observe business practices. And I just don't, I've never wanted to get caught up in foolishness. And I've just always kept to myself and worked on my craft, worked on whatever it is that I wanted to be. I wasn't really a dude that really hung out much back in the days either. You know what I'm saying? I was always opening cassette tapes and, like, doing those types of things that we used to do, collecting records. So I've always been kind of like a one-man show, and I just keep working. But I always consider myself, and this is really crazy, as like a fly on the wall. Like, nobody sees me, but
Right.
I just keep working. You know what I'm saying? Because I see how cats get when they become, I guess they become ingrained in whatever crowd they're dealing with. It seems to change them to, pardon my language, the asshole that they said they weren't going to be.
Right, for sure.
And then all of a sudden it turns out that way. And I've always been like, yo, I don't want to be that dude. Also, like, I respect the greats of this game across all genres. Miles Davis, the Temptations. I mean, the names are vast. But the thing is, all of these people went through real stuff that common music lovers don't really talk about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the life that we live. So I've always believed in holding to myself to a certain standard of, listen, if you go out, if you're trying to rhyme, if you're trying to DJ, be the best you can possibly be. And then on the other side of that, when people actually meet you, you're a whole human being. You're not just like some weirdo, because you know as well as I do, being in this game, there's a lot of cats that are really good at what they do, but when you meet them, they're hermits, so they're like very socially awkward. I think it broadens your brand if you're able to master both sides of that fence. Be really good at what you do, and all of a sudden when people meet you, they're like, yo, he's not a pushover. He knows his shit. He makes good music. That's a total package right there, and that's always what I've wanted to be. So to answer your question, I've always concentrated on myself. I mean, I give love to other people that definitely deserve it, but I've always kept to myself and just kept working. I don't know if that sounds weird, but that's me.
That's true. That's perfect. It made me first thing that popped in my mind after that is, yo, who are good people, man?
Okay, well, I mean, like I said, I got levels, man. So I don't even really think we have enough time to talk about everything. But the good people, I'm in a group called the Good People. Shout out to my man Saint. We've been around since about 2006. Our first album was our self-titled album on Goon Tracks Media Factory Records. Fun fact, that company was a side project of the people who had that whole Pokemon explosion.
Okay.
They created a side label, and we were the first artists on that label, so that was pretty exciting for whatever that meant.
Ooh.
But we released that album in 2006. We've been doing it ever since. Like I said, we're students of the game. The real powerful thing about the Good People is that my man Saint, he's a white guy. I'm a black guy. There seems to be a lot of racial disparity and dissension going on right now. And I was having a conversation with a brother of mine the other day, and I was saying, look, if relations between white people and black people didn't work, you wouldn't have as many white people as you do have in hip hop. And like, look, a white person that gets it, they're down with you because they understand the struggles, they understand the nuances of everything that's going around. And my man Saint is that. Like, he's a white guy from Long Island, but he grew up on hip hop, and we've had like extensive conversations about stuff. And when you break it down and you see where somebody's brain waves are coming from, and they on the same page as yours, but they're not. Obviously, he didn't go through the same things that I've been through or the experiences that I still carry on. But the thing is, to answer your question, white guy, black guy, 2020, we're still making music and we're actually getting better. The other thing is we both kind of came to the agreement that, look, we're not 21, 22 years old where, we running around like chickens with our heads cut off trying to get a deal. We just do this because we love it. But over the years, because of my other projects and stuff, I've managed to make connections overseas, which I know you know very well about.
Yeah, right.
And that's very imperative. I know a lot of brothers that stay on their blocks around here and they don't really think globally, internationally.
Right. Sure.
This whole thing with me and Saint, like, it ties in with that too. Like, it's across racial lines. This is music. This is hip hop.
Music, yeah. You got
right. And a lot of people just don't get that. And like me and Saint, we make some banging ass music, but I do notice, and like I say, I observe. I look at all the people, all the hip hop shows in New York and the prominent hip hop shows. I don't really see a lot of good people, and I understand it because a lot of the music is. And mad respect to all these brothers. I'm gonna just throw names out: Stu Bangers, Bangkok Fam. This is street music.
Right.
What we make is, I'm not gonna even say intellectual soul music, but it's almost like, I always say in interviews, when CL Smooth and Pete Rock, Mecca and the Soul Brother came out, that sound was different from everything else that was out at that time. And I think that's the sound that Saint and I have, not saying that we're old school because we're making fresh new music. And because we're making this classic sounding fresh music, we've actually broadened our fan base around the world. And that, again, goes across racial lines. So I'm just saying, the good people, me and Saint, white guy, black guy, we make soulful hip hop music. And it's useful music too. Like, you can throw it on with your mom there. Like, listen, we all know that there's different branches of hip-hop. I remember Kevin Powell one time. He said, look, back in the 90s, we had lanes. If you wanted militant, you went to Public Enemy. Right. If you wanted, happy-go-lucky, you went to Kwame. You know what I'm saying? Like, you branched off. But now everything is kind of, it's all messed up. And we're not even going to that conversation. But the good people, thegoodpeople.bandcamp.com, shameless plug, since 2006, man, and we've, the last album, well, our best album of last year was Good for Nothing. I don't know if you checked that album.
Yes.
I mean, we had everybody: Red Alert, Large Professor, Cellar Dwellers, Napoleon the Legend, Sadat X, Lil Fame. Like, we just soulful hip hop with these dudes on it, and it was well received.
Yeah.
So we were happy about that, but at the same time, I keep my nose down, bro. It's like, I don't get excited anymore. And I don't know if that's not a normal human reaction, but I do something and I know it's good because I put my heart into it, and whoever likes it. Bam, I move on to the next project.
Right.
Because I always tell cats, you are only as good as your last project. Seriously, for real. You gotta keep going, because if you just rest on the laurels of a last release, then all of a sudden you kind of get lost in yourself. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I
understand that perfectly. Yeah, man. Okay, so real quick, where can people find you? Socials, you know what I'm saying?
All right, well, first of all, I got to shout the home team, Bushwick Radio. I got a show called, right. See, we didn't even get there. We didn't even get to that. You understand what I'm saying?
We'll label this
For those of you who don't know, I am also a DJ. I have a show on Bushwick Radio on Friday nights, 5 to 6. NeverSayNever.com, called The Pen Joint Show. This show is basically patterned after, if you remember Future Flavors, if you remember Pirate Radio, if you remember all these like off the grid shows that were like, yo, what is this? I'm trying to keep that going. So I've been doing it for 2 years. I've been doing it for like 2 years, I think. And I have fun doing it, man. Every Friday, come check it out. Yeah. Also, like, let's see, what else? Mixcloud.com/MARCSMITH184/. That's my Mixcloud page. I got Pen Joint shows up there. I do a soulful house music show on Friday nights called Controlled Substance on sg1house.co.uk out of London. The Good People, remember thegoodpeople.bandcamp.com. We have acapellas available, and this is the beautiful thing about the international thing I was telling you about. We put the acapellas of Good for Nothing on our site, and it's like, look, you want to take a shot, go for it. Because the albums have been so well received, and I guess people are kind of going to the site, they're finding the acapellas, and we're getting acapellas from all over the world, which is crazy. And everybody has their own. You know what I'm saying? You know the remix, a remix.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
yeah, man. So it's like I do a lot of things. You can hit me at those outlets, Mixcloud. Hit me at Bushwick Radio. Control Substance Show Friday night. I mean,
okay, wait,
dude.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Tell me that doesn't. Okay, when you hear the beats that some of these cats are using for your acapellas, can you hear the? Because for me, I always thought internationally they take it to heart where most people in the States should have took it. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You're right.
They like if they really thought about it, it's like, yo, this is it. Now this is what we elevate to. You know, and a lot of them, you know, I'm not gonna front. There's certain that stick to the 90s sound.
Right. Yes.
But even within that sound and within that, it's like, yo, these cats are really bang hard. How trippy is that to hear your joints over there?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a universal cat. Like, you know, I'm not gonna get religious, but I just believe in universal thought process. All right, universal being, and I also understand. You know, you're familiar with Sun Ra.
Yeah.
Sun Ra was infatuated with energy and communication through sound and crazy, but I understand that because that's exactly what that is. You have cats overseas that have never been to New York City. They only see things on television and hear things through files and stuff, but they've never been. And their imagination runs wild with that because they're only dealing with what they're given on their side of the planet.
Right.
When we're here, we're immersed in it, so it's kind of like cats say they don't take it for granted, but I think they do because it's like, oh yeah, New York, yeah. Nah, you gotta keep bringing it from the depths, brother. Like you can't rest, and I think New York rested along with, you know, commercial radio and all the antics that go on with that. But overseas cats, man, I mean, look, when Run DMC finished their career, they went over and extended their career another 5-6 years, like strong years overseas.
Right.
And you know, because I know you have releases overseas and you deal with overseas cats. Like that is where you should want to be because it's not only taking your music to another country, but it's also crossing racial boundaries of people having an understanding of, it's music and it's beyond music. Because, dude, I've made white friends from across the planet that I'll be friends with forever because they understand, dude, all the stuff that we're going through now on TV with Trump and everything, they understand it. And they're like, yo, and they see the injustice. A lot of my friends in Bristol, that whole slave trade shit over there, like they get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need. We need alliances, not only through the music, but out of music, you get to learn about me. I get to learn about you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thought process I'm on. So it's always great when you get different interpretations of a song, an original song you put on your album. You're like, here's the acapella. And you hear all these different interpretations of it. You know, it's beautiful.
Word. That's just well, check this out. I know you got to split, so I ain't gonna hold you up too much longer. No.
You know, let's start some more questions. Nah, come on, let's go.
Okay, all right. So
let's go. Yeah.
All right. When did you realize you were a student of hip
hop? Planet Rock, 1982, when I heard it on WKTU in New York. I lost my mind. I didn't know what it was, but I remember my mother was doing my hair. She was doing something to my hair, and it came on, and all of a sudden it was just like something just went through me, like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
I need to know what this is. And from that, like, you know, you start doing your little, you know, you collecting vinyl and you going on your little I've destroyed many records, not realizing that you needed the felt on the underside of the record. You understand what I'm saying? And you go and start scratching it, or you turn it over. Yo, my record.
Right.
But I would say that's when hip hop first hit me, and I've just been involved in it ever since. And
Right.
yeah.
Now, what came first? You MCing or DJing?
Definitely MCing. I started DJing I started rhyming in '84, just writing rhymes.
Okay.
I started DJing in '86, and I have to say this: when I started DJing, like a lot of kids now, well, maybe not a lot, but some kids, they have the opportunity to just have somebody buy them all new equipment, brand new, pristine. You going in. When I started DJing, I had 2 mismatched turntables and the most incredible messed up mixer that anybody could ever have.
Right.
And I was happy. I was so happy. I was like, yo, I'm good. And then I started listening to DJs like on the radio, of course, Red Alert, Marley Marl, but I was also enamored with Tony Humphries. I was also enamored with all these other different kinds of music that just brought a certain energy late night. Because there's something about night energy that's really crazy. And then when you accentuate that with something you've never heard before, it's just, like I said, it goes back to this whole Sun Ra thing of energy and vibes. And those of us who have picked up on it and moved on with it, I mean, obviously we've done great things. But I just think, like, yeah, man, it's all about the energy of music, brother.
So that time it's obvious, and not many people can say 84, 86, you know what I'm saying? They can't say those numbers, you know what I'm saying? So,
but you know why we can say that? Because black don't crack. Because I know I'm looking at least 40, 41. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So black don't crack. We got those 15 years of age curve.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But so okay. For me, I think you obviously studied everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the best part about hearing your joints is that it's you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't hear anybody else. But,
right.
But when you were factoring in this is what you want to do, who were those people that's like solidified them like, oh nah, okay, I got this, I could do this?
Wow. I don't know. It's just like you hear stuff on the radio and you emulate what you hear. I didn't really roll with a crew. Actually, to be honest with you, this is very important. I grew up in New Jersey, in Teaneck, New Jersey, which is a suburb. It's about maybe 10, 15 minutes from the city. So I didn't really grow up in the hood. I grew up in the suburbs. So I was touched by hip hop on the radio in the suburbs. It's different if you were touched by hip hop in the South Bronx or deep in Brooklyn somewhere. So I have to say that. But I just started writing, and because I was just enamored with flows like Melly Mel, man. His flow back then was nuts.
Yeah.
So then Run DMC with the whole the DJ first, and he's scratching. You're like, what's gonna happen next? And then some guy comes on stage with glasses, and he's cutting his name, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So all those things, like you just see things, and then Crush Groove came out, and it's like all these things you see, and it's like it just becomes a part of you. Now, I had family members that lived in the city, so that was my connection. I used to go visit, and it was a totally different world from the way I grew up. So, I would go, to my grandmother's house, 158th Street, Harlem, and that's when I was introduced to basically crack community. Like, I came from the suburbs. We would make that. I remember this vividly, man. We would turn into 158th Street, and the block was always packed, and people would just, because we had Jersey plates.
Oh, okay.
So cats would come up to the car, knocking on the window, and my father would just keep driving. I didn't understand what that was. And then later on, I'm like, yo, I rode through crack pretty much. And then, because my parents grew up, my father was from Manhattan, my mother was from the South, but we spent a year in the Bronx when I was born, and then they moved me out to New Jersey because they knew what was coming. And they had the option and the availability to move us out to the suburbs. So that's how hip-hop touched me out there. But then I've eventually made my way on a regular basis back to the city whenever I could as I got older to kind of be involved with everything that was going on. Another lane of this, I dated Wendy Williams in from 92 to about 93. And that was a whole other story in itself. But like I said, I got levels, man. So we ain't got no time.
No. but I do appreciate the time. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, brother. No, of course, yes.
We gonna definitely have to have a part 2. You know what I'm saying? You know,
yeah.
Maybe I'll be in New York. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? I don't know right now. You know, with the travel.
Yeah. Be safe with that, man. Hell yeah. Well, hey, if you come in New York, you're gonna have to quarantine for 14 days. I don't know you want to do that.
Oh no, I really don't want to do that. I'd have to get back home real quick.
All right, no doubt.
It is what it is, though.
Yeah, man.
You know, Bushwick Radio, Hip Hop Beats and Things. This is In the Know shout out. Emskee, salute, brother. Appreciate you dropping through.
Can I add one more thing?
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the Starting Five. I got a new project with Quentin Gilmore, Carter P, Horror City, and my man Saint. We put together a little compilation group called the Starting Five. It's out right now. Go check that out.